In the legal world, there is a combination of forces that feed a corrupt and suffocating legal system for attorneys. Law schools, law professionals, judges, and even the firms themselves for whom you work create a system, a matrix, if you will, that is nothing like what you thought when you passed the bar exam. The purpose of this podcast is to help you escape this legal matrix, leading you out of the proverbial desert to be free of the bondage of the matrix. Hosted by Bryce D. Nyer, attorney at law with over 30 years experience in the trenches of civil and criminal litigation at the state, federal, and international levels. He's a highly accomplished and resourceful legal professional, a true master of his craft, and he's here to help you get your life back. Here's your host, Bryce D. Nyer.
All right. It's another episode of Escape the Legal Matrix with yours truly, Bryce D. Nyer, coming at you live from Fayetteville, North Carolina, home of Fort Bragg. That's right, Fort Bragg. And I'm here in the studio tonight with my faithful Labrador Retriever, Drake, one of the law firm mascots. That's right. So we've got an interesting topic tonight. I think it's interesting. And, well, frankly, I think all of our topics are interesting. But we're going to talk about this thing called retirement. And the reason we're going to talk about it is because I hear so many people and a lot of my colleagues in the legal matrix, some people call it the legal profession, what is the legal matrix, talk about, I can't wait until I retire. I can't wait till this age. I can't wait. I'm like, okay, and then what? And I have one of my good friends who's a colleague for a long time. He really doesn't need any money. He's got plenty of money. He's invested well. He's saved. He's done the right things. Not that money's the end all. Don't get me wrong, but he's done some really good financial planning over the decades. And I asked him the other day, I'm like, why don't you just go down to the coast and why don't you just you've done your time, dude. I mean, come on. And he just said no. I said he felt that if he did that he wouldn't appreciate it. Now, I don't know about you all, but I'm a beach guy. I'm not a snow buddy. I love the beach. And I got to tell you, I could certainly most every day appreciate being down the coast, being at the beach, go swimming in the ocean, that sort of thing. I'm just an ocean guy. I'm just a beach guy. That's who I am. But I also understand that you can retire from what you're doing and do something else. You don't have to just sit around and be a couch potato and just binge watch cable TV all day or scroll the social media platforms. But I think it begs the question of, right now, whatever age you are, what is it you really want to do? Because that's the question being posed to me a lot. What do I really want to do? And I just sat there this weekend, and sometimes I just want to be busy doing nothing. But you can't. That doesn't take you anywhere. It takes you to nowhere. And I think about that a lot more often. What does retirement look like? Is retirement a real thing? Because most of the time when I see people retire, they actually pick up careers again shortly thereafter. Or those that don't, and some of the few ones that I know that have retired and just sit around doing nothing, they kind of fade away. And their health starts to go because they're not actively engaging their brain and their body. And I get, you do something long enough, 20, 30, 40 years, you're just like, man, I'm just tired. I just want to be free. And if you're independently wealthy, I guess, you can be free if you don't have any money worries. But even so, if you don't actively engage your mind and your body, and your soul, then you run this risk of just being like The Walking Dead. And I kept thinking about that this weekend as I was planning, this final phase of my life of what I'm going to do. And I was talking to some of my colleagues today, and we were talking about the rat race of the legal profession, this legal matrix. And we're just how tired we are sometimes. And it's just relentless, and it's just getting crazier out there. And a couple of us, the workload, instead of really decreasing, as we're trying to cut back, it's not. It's just getting crazier. And so we were sitting there, a couple of us today, maybe 3 or 4 I talked to on the phone today. we were just talking about life in general and the profession and kind of where we all are. And, I don't know. It's just an interesting subject that I've been thinking about a lot, where sometimes I just want to go to an ocean or a beach and sit in a combi lounger and just not even think, not even do anything. And I don't know. I mean, how are y'all feeling? Engage me here. I mean, do you feel that way sometimes? Do you feel like you're just a rat in the rat race where all the other rats are winning? Because that's the way I feel some days. Some days I feel like the rats are winning. And this idea of retirement, is it real? Can you really effectively retire? And what does retirement look like? And what is it just time to fold and say, I'm done? I'm just D-O-N-E, done. I don't want to deal anymore. I'm done. And can you really escape? And if you're escaping, what are you escaping from and where are you going to? And I think it's truly a discussion that needs to be had early in your life. Like, when you're in your 20s or 30s, where do you really want to go? What do you want to do? Because when I was graduating college and I got commissioned as a young lieutenant, I knew I was going on active duty for a minimum of 4 years was my commitment. And I knew I was going overseas, and I ended up going overseas for 5 years and 2 months. But I knew that what I didn't know, and I knew that I wasn't exactly sure where my life was headed or what I wanted to do. I remember the day I decided to go to law school, which I've talked about on earlier episodes of Escape the Legal Matrix. And I didn't know, I didn't ask the better question of where do I see myself 20, 30, 40 years down the road when I decided that I was going to go to law school. And I had no idea really what retirement looked like. I mean, I grew up in Florida, and of course, there's a lot of retirees there, and a lot of folks would just go to the beach. They'd worked their whole lives, and they were just done, and they just got up every morning, went to the beach, and chilled out, and I guess did whatever they did. But, being a young teen, being a young college kid, retirement was just not in my modus operandi. It wasn't there. It wasn't in my phraseology. And then as the years went by, a lot of people, I just hear more and more, I can't wait till I retire. I can't wait till I retire. And I'm like, damn, are we really going to wait decades to really start enjoying life? And it brought me back to like, why can't we start to enjoy it now? Why can't we break away from the prisons that we put ourselves in? And I think somebody as well recently was, when I was kind of complaining and whining, yes, I do that occasionally. They said, you gotta look at where you work. It's a job. It's a job. Now I'm in a profession, so they call it, but it's the legal matrix. And they just said you have to look at it as a job, as a means to provide you income to do the things that you want to do. And I kind of took a different phraseology. So when I'm driving in from the coast, because I work there sometimes on the weekends and do things there, and then drive back in for the week. And I really don't want to come back from the coast, to be quite frank with you. I just don't. But I do. And I just have to take a different look at, I guess I'm just commuting between work and the coast. So, I know you're wondering, why are we talking about this? Because you have to think about your life. You have to think about it, especially for you law students and you young lawyers in this legal matrix, because it is a grind. It is a beast, and it will beat you down to death if you let it. And all this has been coming up for me recently, and in particular today, as things are changing up here in my home judicial district about how things are going to be done and the caseload and everything else. And I just sat there today and I'm like, what does retirement really look like? Down the road, what does it look like? And what would it look like to you? Would it be freedom? Would it be the ability to choose what you wish to do when you wish to do it? Because I think that's getting a lot harder in today's world. There's just so much coming at us all of the time. And the world is in such chaos and in such a mess. And it goes back to last week when I was asked a question, how do I view success? And I kind of answered that and said, I think to me, success is when I have the ability to say no, to resist temptation, and to avoid self-destructive behaviors. And so they kind of went hand in hand. How not to destroy my life, and then how to move forward and find some peace within myself and to determine what will retirement actually look like. And there are some people that are in their 20s and 30s that made really wise financial decisions or made some great product or service that are already multimillionaires, maybe billionaires, and they're just, in a sense, done, but they're doing other things and keeping busy. So let me ask you the better question. Where are you right now in your life? How old are you? And what does the future look like for you? How do you envision yourself years down the road? And if you're thinking about retirement, whether it's 30 years, 20 years, 10 years, 1 year from now, what does that look like for you? What does it look like? So I this week, I'm going to focus on that for me about what does my future look like? Is it all work and no play, or is it half work and half play, or is it all play? I mean, what is it? And how do I really want to transform into this other type of life where I just do something completely different? I'm not going to retire from working per se. I just may retire from doing what I'm doing and do something completely different to have a new and unique challenge to kind of energize me and revive me and fuel me to have that passion in the domains of body, being, balanced, and business so that I ultimately have fulfillment. So I want to hear your feedback on this. So when you hear this episode, please type something in the comments about these better questions that we're asking tonight. Okay, this is Bryce Denier with Drake, the great Labrador Retriever, coming at you live again from Fayetteville, North Carolina, home of Fort Bragg, where everyday men and women don the uniform and do what? They go wage war against enemies that seek to destroy the very freedoms that we so often take for granted. This is Bryce Denier, and I am out of here.